So let's talk about straw work. This is always really fun. I like to start with water for it. It gives you a little more resistance, so it makes it a little harder and it's a little more challenging. With the straw, you can use a straw of a variety of different widths. You can use a coffee stirrer, that makes it harder. You can use a smoothie straw, that may be easier. It's going to depend on what goals you have, and sometimes you just want to explore what works for you. Typically, you want to put the straw about 1/4 inch into the water. You can go deeper, but that makes it more difficult. And then you're going to basically blow bubbles through the straw. Whoops. Now, you want to make sure that no air is escaping through your nose. So if that's a tendency for you, hold your nose. You can also just put your finger here to kind of monitor if air is coming out. That, sometimes people can take that all the way up to their top note. Sometimes people will find it gets a little tight with the straw in water or with the straw in general, especially a more narrow straw, as they get into the highest notes of their range. Other times they find they can get higher with the straw than doing other things. So experiment with what works for you. And then you can take the straw out of the water and do it like this. You still want to really make that straw buzz, and you want to make sure you're not losing air through your nose. Then if you want to move towards something that feels more like regular singing, you could do a really closed ooh. This is technically not a semi-occluded vocal tract exercise, but because we're narrowing the opening so much, it acts in a similar manner. Ooh. And you can experiment with how close that ooh is. Ooh. So that's another way you can play around with these exercises. And in someone who's recovering from an injury or an illness, sometimes I like to go progressively from the straw and water, which is harder, the straw without water, and then to the ooh. So we're moving from more resistance to less resistance, and from something with a little more intervention to something that is regular singing.